All right, welcome everybody to Total Security Solutions LiveFire product demonstration. Today we'll be doing a demonstration and we'll be talking specifically for the retail industry. I'm Paul Levine, I'll be your host today, and with me is Bob George. Bob George is a senior consultant, and Bob will be both talking about best practices as well as taking questions today. Just to go over today's format, we will start off with an industry best practices discussion that Bob will lead here. You would have this morning received two documents in your email. One is our Bulletproof Systems Components Guide. What we'll talk about today is in that guide, so hopefully you have that handy. The other one is our UL 752 ballistic testing chart, and we'll make reference to that as well. So keep those documents handy. After we're done with the best practices discussion, we will go to a LiveFire demonstration of the product. On the left here, we've got our laminated polycarbonate LP1250 product in our BL175 ballistic rated aluminum frame. On the right hand side is the same aluminum frame with our ballistic level 3 fiberglass panel. So we'll put 3 bullets into each, and that's in line with the UL 752 test. We will be shooting it with a 44 Magnum pistol using 240 grain semi-wad cutter bullets. So once our marksman has shot the 2 panels, we'll actually take you up close and show you the panels and the shot, and we'll bring you right around with the camera and show you backside too. What you will see is nothing penetrates. It'll be smooth as glass on the back. All right. Right after that, we'll walk back around front and we'll take your questions live. So if you have questions right now, go ahead and start entering them. Put them into the queue on that. If we don't get to your question live today, we will follow up with you after the event and make sure that we do answer your questions. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Bob George to, if you would, just tell us a little bit about the products and that for the retail industry.
Okay, thanks, Paul. We'll just start a kind of quick overview on the UL 752 Underwriters Laboratory ballistic category. They range from ULs level 1 through 8. Most common for the retail industry would be ULs levels 1 through 3. Starting with the glazing available for interior use, you have ballistic acrylics, range from levels 1 through 2. Laminated polycarbonates range from levels 1 through 3. And then we also offer glass-clad polycarbonates that range from levels 1 through 8. If you were going to use something, our recommendation for an interior in a retail application would be a UL level 1 acrylic, would be the most common. If you're looking for additional protection, you could go to a level 2. If you're looking for something for the price, for the security, you could go up to a UL level 3. Breaking down the UL 752 1 through 3 categories as far as the glazing. Level 1 is for a 9mm 3-shot test. Level 2 is a 357 3-shot test. And then the level 3 version is a 3-shot test from a 44 Magnum. So levels 1 through 3 are the most common in the retail, but UL level 1 typically the most used. If you're relating it to an exterior, looking to protect your storefront, possibly your front doors, you could start with our Defender insulated glass at a UL level 1. That's an insulated air gap glass with no polycarbonate, but then we do also offer levels 3 through 8 for glass-clad polycarbonate versions for exterior glass. As Paul mentioned earlier, the ballistic fiberglass, we also offer those. Those are an opaque panel. If you're looking to protect walls, stud walls, millwork, countertops, these can all be used in those applications, whether it's new construction, it can be built into the millwork or into the walls during construction, or even on a retrofit. It can be post-applied and then covered with a finished material, any type of veneer, laminate, aluminum, or even buried into a kick space. Also related to your framing systems. As Paul mentioned here, this is our BL 1.75. That rates from a UL level 1 through 3. We also offer steel framing systems as well. We also thermally rated systems for the exterior with aluminum. We also offer non-rated versions for the cost conscious. We also offer a full range of doors. We have aluminum, steel, wood, all glass, and acrylic. Now these range in different levels. Our full vision aluminum doors range from levels 1 through 5. Our steel, you can get levels 1 through 8. Wood as well, 1 through 8. Glass ranges from 1 through 3 only. And acrylic polycarbonate doors range from levels 1 through 3. Most commonly used in a retail setting, you may see an aluminum door for the interior or exterior. You'll see steel doors for the cost conscious. They are the least expensive. You could put that on an exterior or an interior door. Also see a lot of wood doors as well as acrylic doors. And these can be offered as full vision, view windows, half vision, or full vision. Transaction systems as far as relating to what's on your counter and how you're going to be able to communicate with your customer or how you're going to pass items back and forth. A couple things you have to pay attention to. How are you going to communicate? We offer voice port talk-through systems, whether it's a stainless steel voice port for natural sound or as simple as a 6-inch cutout with a 10-inch oversized backer. We also have fixed window systems as well that are very good for natural sound transfer. We also offer sliding window systems, horizontal, vertical for communication, as well as being able to pass large items. Also, we offer package passers, deal trays, sliding drawers. These are all for the products that you need to pass back and forth, as simple as cash, badges, paperwork, or even larger items like a UPS box, even something as simple as just merchandise behind your counter that you want to pass to the customer. So that's a quick overview of our products and how they relate to the retail system. And we're going to get ready to start our live fire. Paul will just make a quick comment here before we get started.
Thank you, Bob. Just one question, Bob. When you were talking about the glazing, there's also uncoated and coated on the glazings.
That's
Can
correct.
you just talk about that real quickly?
Sure. Most of the glazings, the acrylics and the polycarbonates, come with a coated material if necessary. So with acrylic, which is the most common in this application, levels 1 and 2 can come uncoated or coated. And the coated material is an abrasion-resistant spray that they post-apply in manufacturing during that process. There's a big difference between the two as far as pricing. So typically most customers go with an uncoated material, especially when they're looking for a deterrent. But if you are worried about people putting their hands up, you can go with a coated material.
All right, thank you. Okay, as Bob had said, we're going to move on to the LiveFire product demonstration part. So again, we'll be shooting both products here, the LP1250 and the level 3 fiberglass. 3 shots in a triangle, and that is what the rating is for the test for level 3. So our range master is going to step in here now, and Bob and I are going to step off and put on our hearing protection, so there'll be just a moment in between here. So go ahead and take your spot. And when you're ready, fire. All right, the range is clear. So we'll come back in here. That's the live fire. I'm going to turn it over to Bob here. He's going to talk about both pieces and how they did.
Okay, we'll start with the LP1250 laminated acrylic polycarbonate material. This is a UL level 3 product. You can see the 3-shot test from a semi-wad cutter. There's 3 shots. That's the minimum test. You can see here that it's pretty flush. You can see the fragments of the bullet as they broke apart once they got into the acrylic and the polycarbonate caught it. Here with the ballistic fiberglass, again, a 3-shot test. That's what the UL testing agency requires to pass the minimum. See here, and then maybe we can take a look at the back. Here, as it relates to the ballistic fiberglass, you can see that there's absolutely no penetration, slight bulges, but overall it's pretty smooth. There's really no material left here. And then even with the laminated poly, you can see that there was 0 penetration and that this product, to me, looks like it overperformed. You can see the fragments of the bullet down in here, but you can see nothing gave way really on this side. The framing system all held together, glazing held together intact. Absolutely no penetrations. Paul, is there anything you want to add on that?
Yep, so we'll just come back around in the front here. And so one of the things I will point out, this is the actual test doing 3 shots. If you look in here with the laminated polycarbonate product, you'll see all of the bullet fragments are encapsulated right here in this front sheet between the laminated polycarbonate and the inner core. That is normal for the laminated polycarbonate product. There's nothing out in the front. And the fiberglass, there's just a little bit of fine dust, but in the back, nothing at all, totally clear on that. When you are shooting with acrylic as a different piece, you will see some what we call spall, just because it is a hard plastic product that doesn't have the polycarbonate cap sheets here on the front. And the same thing with the glass clad polycarbonate, you'll see a little bit of glass dusting or what we call spall on those products, but on the back side you will have some spall with those products, but nothing that is going to actually damage a person behind it on that. So, all right. Bob, any other comments come to mind on this?
No, what I did notice, I wanted to point out, there is absolutely no ricochet too on the ballistic fiberglass. Sometimes people think the bullets might even bounce back, but they don't. I mean, the material caught it, encapsulated it, and it worked about as well as you could expect.
Yep. Same thing here. All the fragments are inside there. While it's not part of a UL test, in other times we have taken these products, I've done them in live demonstrations, and after we do the test part, we go ahead and continue to shoot on that. If you go on our website, you will see that we do have a video of a steel door, and we shot that door 100 times. So 100 rounds shot into that door, no penetration on the back. Now, that's not guaranteed by the UL testing process, but we frequently do see that with all of the products, that we continue to shoot, they continue to stand up. So excellent with that. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll move on to the Q&A section of this event. And let me just switch over. So Bob, the first question that we have here is, what is the most common UL level used that we see in a retail setting, retail convenience store?
I would say most of the time you are going to see a UL level 1 used in this setting. I would say that people are very cost conscious at that point, and this is strictly a security measure. A lot of private businesses that don't have a lot of disposable funds. So they're looking for a cost conscious product that's going to create a deterrent, and the UL level 1 product does that with the acrylic, the framing systems, the voice ports, the fiberglass. I'd say UL level 1 would be the most common.
Okay. And the next question that we have here is, does TSS collaborate with architects before, during, and after the process, like through the design, and consult with them?
We do, all the way through the process. However, in best interest of the end user, the customer, I think it's best for us to get involved before the project is fully designed so that we can truly understand what their needs are, concerns, what they're trying to accomplish. That way we can tailor the design to fit their business, fit into their budget as well. But yeah, it is good to work with them ahead of time before the projects or any project is released, either to bid or to work on. A lot of times construction's already taking place, and then to make changes after the fact can create issues. However, it can be done, but I'd recommend probably reaching out ahead of the project to work on design.
Okay. The next question here is, if I want to protect against a rifle shot in my store, what do I need in the way of glass or framing and systems? Sure.
Well, that'll take you out of the handgun range, which is what we were talking about earlier. Levels 1 through 3 are all handguns. Once you get over level 3, levels 4 through 8, most of those are high-powered rifles. UL level 4 is a 30-06. It's probably the hardest test to pass because of the weight of the bullets and the velocity at which they're coming. So yes, we do have products available, framing systems similar to this, glazing. Now, once you get over level 3, keep in mind you are into just glass-clad polycarbonate products. So you will be working with glass, but we still have a full range of glazing, framing systems, doors that can take care of a high-powered rifle from UL level 4 through 8.
All right, thank you. Next question that comes up is, do you do on-site assessments and consulting? In other words, does somebody come out to my location to help me?
Yes, we can. We can come out, we can take a look at your place of business, project, give you a general idea. However, a lot of this can be done over the phone, as simple as with some pictures, communicating, whether it's just getting on the phone and walking through the system, sending plans over, we can help walk through any of that. But if it's a necessity and it's something that we feel would be in the best interest of the customer, we'd be more than happy to come out and do a site assessment.
All right. Along the lines of that, one of the questions is, do you work nationwide?
We do. Even though we're based out of Michigan and we have an office in California and other states around the country, most of our work is outside of the state. So yeah, we do work anywhere East Coast, down south, southwest, West Coast, California, Northwest, Hawaii. We even do work a little bit overseas, not maybe as far as Europe, but we do work in the Caribbean. We've also done some work down in South America as well. So yeah, it's not just to Fowlerville in Michigan.
How about Canada?
Yes, we've done work up there as well.
All right, excellent. The next question. So this isn't necessarily for a convenience store. This might be for the retail distribution center or for the corporate offices. What UL level do you suggest for facility main entrances?
I would say if you're going to go through the process and you want to set up additional protection for your office or any type of security, I would start with a UL level 3. That way you're covered for all handguns. Level 1, level 2 are great, but if you're looking for extra security with the right products, I would say UL level 3. We have the right type of glazing. This is the level 3 framing system. We have level 3 storefront doors, wood doors. I would say handguns are usually the most common, even though you hear on the news a lot, high-powered rifles. I would say most of the incidents that we see are with handguns. So I would recommend a UL level 3 to start with.
Okay. Along the same lines there, what about in distribution centers where you have main entrances for workers and everything coming in, and you have the guard station, or in a corporate office where you have the security area up front? How do you help protect those people?
Well, again, I'd say protection level, I would start with a UL level 3, depending on if it's just a transaction window that's a cutout in a wall, if it's a reception desk, a security vestibule, a guard post. We have all types of different options that we can put together. We custom make a lot of our products to fit what your needs are. So we've done, customized guard booths, customized vestibules, reception desk areas. We can work with the existing millwork that's there. We have the ability to make custom ballistic millwork as well if you want to do something from the floor to the ceiling. So we have all types of different options depending on what your project is and what your needs are.
Okay. Next question here, and this deals with the installation of the product. So do you work with my construction company, or do you offer, well, let's start with that. Do you work with a construction company that I'm using?
We can.
Okay.
We have so many options. That's the great thing about the work that we do. We can do the work direct for you and do the install. We can help furnish it, work with your contractor on the layout. We can work with the contractor's subcontractors like the glazer or the mill worker. So there's a lot of different options depending on how you want the project to go. But we can offer up our services for installation. However, if we want to, whether it's working with the GC and if we're just working on them installing or us working with them, as far as doing the install, we can do either. But we like to plan, assess, and then really, get involved and see what the best is for the customer, and obviously everyone in between and what's going to work best for their timetable.
All right. Along the same lines, so do you also offer direct factory installation service?
Yes, we do. I guess I kind of answered that a little bit just now, but yeah, we can work direct for the customer if they like. We can get in early with the end user, work with the architect for the end user, whatever it may be, but we can do work direct as well.
Okay. With the installation, especially when you're doing factory installation service, how long is my place torn apart? How long does your typical install take?
Sure. Well, it depends. If it's a retrofit or new construction, obviously new construction, there's a timetable to the entire project set ahead of time. But as far as, say, us coming in and retrofitting, we can come in over a weekend. Depending on the size of the project, it might take one night, it might take 3 nights, it might take a handful of days. But typically, I don't think business is going to be disrupted very long. We work in evenings, we work on the weekends. So we try to do as much as we can on the planning level to do work so you guys aren't shut down. And obviously you're not be able to have your business open and make money is what you want to be doing. So we don't want to shut things down to the public or whoever's coming in for your business, whether it's private or public. So we try to do our work on off hours.
All right. Okay, so this question goes back to more the corporate offices or the offices around the country. Can you take, and it's along the lines of there's a lot of executive protection that goes on. Tell me, what is it that we do in the way of protecting executive offices?
Sure. Well, we reference sometimes because it's a CEO or executive, level, they're looking for some more ornate products. So I referenced our all glass door system, which would be the perfect application for something like that. That goes up to a UL level 3, all glass doors. A lot of times they want to see interior storefront, but almost a frameless look to go along with the door. So we have a system for that as well. We can do that in glass. We can do that in laminated polycarbonate. If you are going to do the all glass doors, I would, that is all glass. So I would recommend keeping all the material the same as far as your storefront. But typically you'll see, or interior storefront, you'll see UL level 3 to start as far as protection for something like that.
Okay, so that's the executives, which are frequently who's being protected first because they're out there in the forefront, they're the face of the organization. But unfortunately in today's day and age, we have a rising concern of violence in the workplace. What about the rest of the employees? What can we do to help give them a safe space to go to?
Sure. Well, we can also do safe rooms as well. We've done that in a lot of retail applications as far as corporate security. We can create a safe room, say, within a conference room that's already built in your office. The fiberglass can either be post-applied, then covered with drywall and finished, or you can put a veneer, a laminate to match what's in there. But you could focus on maybe one room, protect the doors, a couple ballistic wood doors, say UL level 3. Then you have the ballistic fiberglass on the wall so that you have full protection, a good mortise lock set as far as on the door, and you guys can have full protection. So if there was an active shooter, your office would have somewhere to go and be 100% protected.
And so that might be taking one conference room and retrofitting it, so it doesn't have to be new construction.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be new. I've seen it many times where we'll come in, we'll retrofit, we'll designate one room where they want everyone to go, a centralized location, and then we can just skin the fiberglass right over the drywall that's there and then finish it with a different type of material. And then we can work with your local contractor or we can work with you directly.
Okay. Now we'll go back to the convenience store setting. And the question here is, if there's liquor bottles and cartons of cigarettes behind the counter, how do I hand those to people? How do I get them to people if I've got this big piece of ballistic glass in between them and I?
Sure. Touched on it briefly earlier, but we also offer package passers, a wide range of products. They are to pass like liquor bottles or carton of cigarettes. It just depends on what it is, but there's a few different options. For carton of cigarettes, we make an oil tray, deal tray that's recessed in the counter. It's a V shape so that you can slide the stuff through, but you're still protected. You can't get the barrel of a gun through there. As far as liquor bottles, we make rotary Susans, whether they're interior or exterior units. We have a couple different kinds. But it's basically, with a handle on top, and you're just rotating around with ballistic glazing, and we can incorporate that into your window system. We make larger boxes, package exchangers. We also, which are acrylic or laminated poly that would sit on your counter. They're basically like a clear cube. But we also make package passer units that you could put in your wall as well that are steel or stainless steel. And they both have interlocking doors so that only one door is opened at a time and you're completely protected. And that goes along with the rotary Susan and the lazy Susan. It's the same application. Only one side can be accessed at a time. Okay.
Another question I have is day and night. So during the day, what if I'm not as worried about the threats and I want to allow more direct interaction with the customer? but with a way to quickly cut it off. But at night, I want to step up to a much higher level of protection. What
Sure.
can I do?
Yeah, that's a good question, Paul. We reference vertical sliders, horizontal sliders. So they're operable window units. So during the day, maybe you might not feel like there's a threat, and you want to be able to communicate with your customers a little more effectively. With the sliders, you can have them open during the day, horizontal or vertical. But then at night, if you're feeling like there's a security risk, there's less workers in the store, these things can be closed at night. There's a lock on them that they can't be opened from the exterior, only from the inside. We could put a voice port on it. There's the deal tray. There's package passers that you could incorporate so that you can pass products back and forth. You could also put an exterior rotary Lazy Susan on an exterior wall. Whether it's a glass wall or even a block wall, you can put that product in there, and then you could pass products through there that way. That way your employees 100% safe and not vulnerable.
Okay. Getting into costs. So the different levels, acrylic, polycarbonate, glass-clad polycarbonate, and that, as I go up in the UL level, the question is, do my costs go up?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, but it's not anything that's exorbitant. It's just that level 1 is a deterrent. It's the least expensive. That's why we recommend sometimes making the jump from level 1 to 3 instead of level 1 to 2 because of the pricing. And this all differs between the products. But if you're going on an interior unit, the acrylics and the polycarbonates, the acrylics are less expensive than polycarbonate. Polycarbonate can get a little expensive. However, for the cost and the jump in security from 1 to 3, it's worth your buck to have the extra security, the laminated poly, covering you for all handguns as opposed to just an acrylic material at a level 1. It relates to glass on the exteriors. Those aren't too far apart in the square foot number range as far as pricing. They only range a couple dollars a square foot as you go up in levels.
Okay. How about doors? You mentioned wood doors and steel doors and aluminum doors and all that. What's the most economical and what's the most expensive?
Sure. Most economical would be a steel door. A flush panel steel door would probably be the least expensive. Steel doors are probably the first ones. Then you've got your wood, acrylics, aluminum, and then your all glass. And then as it goes by level, obviously you're probably looking at incremental bumps per level as you go up. Now, if you want to incorporate a view window, half vision, full vision door compared to a flush panel door, the more glazing you have in the door, the more expensive it's going to be.
Okay. And you mentioned framing systems, and I know in the component guide that we sent out to everybody, there's quite a number of framing systems that go up and up. How do I know what framing system I need with the glazing or around a door?
Sure. So, a couple different areas here. So if you're working in a convenience store setting and you're looking to do a level 3 protection, we try not to put a big bulky frame on a counter. Aesthetically, it's not going to look good. So we recommend our level 3 two-piece channel system that passed testing. Sometimes you can go with a non-rated channel or a non-rated two-piece channel with ballistic glazing. But as it relates like level 1, typically people are cost conscious again. I'm going to keep emphasizing that. So they're not maybe as concerned about the channel, the walls, and everything surrounding it. But as you start going up in higher levels, because you're asking for extra security, then you're looking for the framing or the channel system to be rated. You're looking for your doors to be rated across the board. But with level 1, typically what you'll see is ballistic level 1 acrylic, and then maybe you'll see a door to the side, a steel or an acrylic door for the people that are cost conscious. But as level 3, you start seeing more products incorporated that are all rated.
Okay. So another question runs into, we've been talking a lot about convenience stores or gas stations. How about when you get into the major stores, the big box retailers on that? Where do we see the best use of ballistic materials there?
Typically, you might see it at a front entrance, the exterior storefront. You might see them protect the doors or the glass on the exterior. If you're coming inside, it would probably be in that front area with where the registers are at. You'll see glazing, protecting those sections, possibly a back door, a side door that's accessible. You might see a steel door in the back that you want to make ballistic so that somebody couldn't come through the back. create any issues. But those 3 areas are typically where you'd see it.
I imagine also where the cash office is.
Right, there could be a door in the back office for a cash door as well, steel, wood door. Depends on aesthetics too. Steel's not the most aesthetically pleasing, but a wood door, a little more ornate. You can do a laminate, you can do a veneer.
How about, I believe I've heard that there's a trend for like the pharmacies in store to be ballistically protected. Are we seeing that as well?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we've been doing pharmacies for years, and typically you'll see at the drop-off, consultation, pickup. You'll see a full system across, and where you'll have trays deep enough to pass prescription bottles, or you'll have bigger package exchangers to pass some of the larger items that they might have to pass back and forth. But very common to see a pharmacy. Obviously, there's a lot of incidents there with all the prescription drugs that are behind the counter, to make sure that those people are protected. And then also the exterior drive-up window as well. You could do a glass window there, vision window, and then put in a package passer or a through-wall drawer with a speaker system too, to be able to communicate with your customers.
Okay. You just mentioned speaker systems. So earlier I heard you talk about putting in the port and backer and that. So what is speaker system? Is that where there's literally a speaker in the window?
Well, I should clarify. So there are speaker systems, there's natural sound and then amplified. We offer both. I would recommend natural sound if you can, and we do have a different variety. We have a wide variety of products that we can use. As simple as the natural sound, I spoke about the stainless steel voice ports, which are typically used on an exterior. However, on an interior, they're a little muffled, so we don't recommend them. There we would recommend a hole and backer unit, which I spoke about before, 6-inch cutout round diameter hole with a 10-inch oversized backer attached to it to allow sound transfer. Those are the least expensive routes, but then, like I said, we also have fixed window systems too. We can do an arched window, vertical baffle system, horizontal baffle, all types of different window systems that we can kind of tailor to what you're looking for and what you're trying to accomplish, depending on what your counter area looks like.
Okay, excellent. All right. That wraps up the questions that we have right now. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up our demonstration on that. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. If you do have more questions, please feel free to send them to the events@tssbulletproof.com email address. Our staff would be happy to answer them. If you would like further follow-up from this webinar, again, please reach out to us. We'd be happy to talk to you about it. And we'll have more webinars coming up, so watch for that. Watch your email box and watch on the website. And thank you, Bob, for taking time today to talk to us.
Great. Thanks, Paul. Thanks
and
for having
with
me.
that, we'll go ahead and we'll wrap up the webinar.